Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders are once again rolling the dice, and this time, it's not just about adding another name to their depth chart. It's about salvaging a season that's quickly slipping through their fingers. This franchise, which entered the 2025 campaign with optimism and a new wave of energy under Jayden Daniels, now finds itself trying to patch up holes that keep appearing faster than they can be fixed. Injuries, inconsistency, and questionable roster decisions have defined the first 6 weeks, and as the fan base grows restless, the Commanders' front office is taking a gamble that could either spark a mid-season revival or serve as yet another reminder of how fragile hope can be in the NFL. The latest move? Signing former first-round pick Treylon Burks, a player once viewed as the future of the Tennessee Titans, now fighting to resurrect his career in Washington. When the Commanders took the field this season, there was genuine belief that they could make some noise in the NFC. Jayden Daniels brought excitement with his dual-threat ability. Terry McLaurin remained one of the most consistent receivers in football, and offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy was expected to fully unleash a new, dynamic system. But as the weeks went by, reality hit hard. McLaurin's nagging injuries forced him to miss time. Daniels has been dealing with his own physical setbacks, and the receiver room that was supposed to be a strength quickly turned into a liability. Noah Brown, who was slated to be the WR3 and a stabilizing veteran presence, couldn't stay on the field, landing on injured reserve with no clear timetable for return. Suddenly, what was once a balanced offense looked like a patchwork unit struggling to find any rhythm or identity. So now, enter Treylon Burks. The Commanders hosted him for a visit this week and wasted no time in signing him to the practice squad, with the clear expectation that he'll be elevated to the active roster soon. According to reports from NFL insider Ian Rappaport, the team views this move as more than just a stopgap. It's a chance to unlock a player who never quite found his footing in Tennessee. Burks, drafted 18th overall in 2022, was supposed to be the Titans' replacement for A.J. Brown, the explosive receiver they traded away in a controversial move. But instead of becoming the next big thing, Burks' career in Nashville was defined by frustration, missed opportunities, and a never-ending battle with injuries. His time there never truly got off the ground, and before long, he went from being a key part of the future to a forgotten man on the roster. Still, there's reason to believe that Washington might just be the perfect landing spot for him. At 6'2" and 225 pounds, Burks brings the kind of physicality and athleticism that the Commanders' offense desperately needs. He's a big-bodied receiver with strong hands and the ability to make contested catches, a skill set that could complement McLaurin perfectly once both are healthy. And with Jayden Daniels' improvisational style, Burks might finally get the freedom to play the way he was meant to, rather than being boxed into rigid schemes that didn't fit his strengths. This isn't a move about desperation. It's about potential redemption for both player and franchise. But let's be real, this isn't a move without risk. Burks' injury history is extensive and troubling, and availability has been his biggest issue since entering the league. The Commanders are already reeling from a depleted receiver group, and adding another player with durability concerns feels like walking a tightrope without a safety net. The hope, though, is that a change of scenery and a different approach to his usage could finally unlock what made Burks a first-round pick in the first place. He's only 25 years old, young enough to turn things around, but old enough to understand that this might be his last real shot to prove he belongs in the league. It's also worth noting that this move comes at a crucial juncture for the Commanders. The upcoming stretch of games features a brutal slate of opponents, and Washington simply can't afford to fall further behind in the standings. Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane have shown flashes of growth and potential, but asking them to carry the load for an extended period would be unfair and unrealistic. The Commanders need someone who can step in and make an immediate impact, and Burks, if he can stay healthy, has the talent to do just that. There's a sense of urgency in Ashburn right now, and the front office knows that one more misstep could turn a disappointing start into a lost season. From a broader perspective, this signing says a lot about where the Commanders are as a franchise. They're in that uncomfortable middle ground, too talented to completely tear things down, but not quite consistent enough to be a real contender. It's the kind of place where teams often look for reclamation projects like Burks, hoping that one low-risk, high-reward move can shift the momentum. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time Washington has taken a flyer on a once-promising player looking for a fresh start. Sometimes, those gambles pay off in a big way. Other times, they only highlight how desperate a team is for answers. The question now is, which side of history will this move fall on? For Treylon Burks, this is more than just another contract. It's a lifeline. The NFL moves fast, and reputations fade even faster. One minute you're a first-round pick being compared to the league's elite. The next, you're fighting for a practice squad spot and trying to convince teams you can still play. Burks has always had the tools: size, speed, hands, and strength. What he's lacked is consistency and opportunity. In Tennessee, he never had the benefit of playing with a true top-tier quarterback, and the offensive instability there certainly didn't help. In Washington, things might finally line up differently. Jaden Daniels may be young, but his energy, mobility, and playmaking instincts could mesh beautifully with Burks' physical style. There's something to be said about a receiver who thrives in chaos, and Daniels' ability to extend plays could give Burks the openings he's been missing. Meanwhile, from the Commanders' standpoint, this move also feels like an admission that their offseason strategy may not have been as sound as they hoped. Banking on Noah Brown as a dependable WR3 always felt like a risk, and now that he's sidelined indefinitely, the roster is paying the price. Injuries are part of the game, sure, but good teams build depth that can withstand them. The Commanders didn't do enough in that regard, and this signing of Burks is as much about cleaning up that miscalculation as it is about adding talent. If Burks can step in and perform, it'll help mask the front office's earlier mistakes. If he struggles, or worse, lands on the injury report again, it will only magnify the sense that this team continues to be reactive rather than proactive. There's also the fan perspective to consider. Washington fans have endured years of frustration, from ownership controversies to on-field disappointment, and their patience is wearing thin. They're not looking for another project. They're looking for production, excitement, something tangible to believe in. Burks' arrival won't change the franchise overnight, but if he can deliver even a handful of big plays, if he can give this team a spark, he'll quickly become a fan favorite. Sometimes, it only takes one player stepping up to shift the energy in a locker room, and right now, the Commanders could use every ounce of that kind of energy they can get. The next few weeks will tell us a lot. Burks will need time to get up to game speed, learn the playbook, and build chemistry with Daniels. There's no guarantee he'll even make a significant impact right away. But the beauty of football lies in these second chances, the moments when a player once written off gets another opportunity to prove everyone wrong. Treylon Burks has the talent to do that. The Commanders, meanwhile, have the platform and the need. Maybe, just maybe, this unlikely partnership will be exactly what both sides need to turn things around. In the end, the Commanders' decision to sign Treylon Burks is a microcosm of their entire season. Hopeful yet uncertain, ambitious yet desperate. It's a gamble, pure and simple, but one that might pay off if all the right pieces fall into place. Washington isn't out of the fight yet, and if Burks can stay on the field and rediscover the spark that once made him a first-round pick, this signing could go down as one of the smartest mid-season moves of the year. Or it could become another chapter in a long story of what-ifs. Either way, it's going to be fascinating to watch how it unfolds. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. There's a storm brewing over in Washington, and it's not the kind of storm that clears up in a single game or week. Terry McLaurin, the electric wide receiver for the Commanders, has reportedly made waves in the locker room and across social media, and the rumor mill is spinning fast. Insiders are hinting at a tension so thick it could almost be felt through the screens of fans watching from home. Sources close to the team are saying that McLaurin, known for his unwavering dedication on the field and his almost surgical precision in separating from defenders, has been vocal about trust, or the lack thereof, within the team. The phrase that's now floating around, apparently uttered with a mixture of frustration and steely resolve, is, "You can't trust someone who's already betrayed the group." That's a strong, almost cinematic line, and for a player of McLaurin's caliber, it's raising eyebrows everywhere. Analysts and fans alike are speculating on what, or who, might have prompted such a blunt declaration. The whisperings hint at more than just a single incident, suggesting a pattern of behavior that could have rattled the locker room's chemistry. Some believe it's tied to internal disagreements over leadership, play calling, or even contract negotiations, while others are convinced it could be linked to personal slights that somehow crossed into professional territory. McLAURIN, after all, has never been a player to mince words when he feels principles are at stake. Rumors about tension in professional football locker rooms are nothing new, but when the source is a player of McLaurin's status, it takes on a different weight. He's not just any wide receiver. He's arguably the heartbeat of the Commanders' offense, the guy defenses plan for, and the player whose commitment can set the tone for the entire team. If he's voicing concern about trust and betrayal, it raises questions about the internal dynamics that fans rarely see. Are we witnessing a breakdown in the unity that coaches preach but can't always enforce? Could there be fractures among the veterans and newcomers? Or is it more about personality clashes that have escalated over time? The speculation is rampant, with sports commentators on social media dissecting every word, gesture, and tweet, trying to connect dots that may or may not even exist. The phrase McLaurin reportedly used has a sense of finality to it, as though he's laying down a boundary that can't be crossed again. Betrayal is a word heavy with consequence, and in a sport that's as much about trust as it is about talent, the implications are enormous. Sources hint that this might not be a casual locker room gripe. Some insiders suggest that the comments came during a private team meeting, one that was intended to strengthen morale but may have exposed deeper divisions instead. Imagine the scene, the room quiet, the hum of air conditioning mixing with the subtle tension as a team leader like McLaurin addresses the group. The words, "You can't trust someone who's already betrayed the group," drop into the air like a bomb. Teammates reportedly exchanged glances, and while outwardly calm, some may have been silently reconsidering alliances, leadership structures, and where their loyalties truly lie. In a league where teamwork is non-negotiable, even subtle shifts in trust can cascade into broader performance issues. Could this tension manifest on the field? Only time will tell, but if the Commanders stumble in upcoming games, analysts may point to this locker room discord as a critical factor, a hidden variable behind what could otherwise appear as ordinary performance fluctuations. Fans, of course, have not been silent. The online chatter has exploded, with Twitter threads stretching for thousands of comments debating the meaning behind McLaurin's statement. Some are praising him for honesty and accountability, saying that leadership is about calling out behavior that weakens the collective. Others are wary, suggesting that publicly hinting at betrayal could further destabilize the locker room and create factions. The debate has even spilled into forums and fan podcasts, where self-proclaimed insiders offer leaks and backstage stories that may or may not have any basis in fact. But in today's sports culture, perception is nearly as important as reality. Whether or not the so-called betrayal has tangible consequences on the field, the narrative alone can shift morale, fan engagement, and even media coverage for weeks. Interestingly, this revelation about McLaurin also casts a spotlight on the Commanders' management and coaching staff. How does a team navigate the storm when one of its marquee players is calling out betrayal in such stark terms? Are there attempts behind closed doors to mend relationships? Or are we watching a slow burn of tension that could climax in trades, benching decisions, or even public confrontations? Rumors suggest that coaches have been in private meetings with players, trying to reassert unity and refocus energy on the field. However, the fact that McLaurin's words are now public knowledge complicates the picture. A locker room is delicate enough without explosive statements going viral. Now, every pass thrown, every dropped reception, and every sideline interaction is likely being analyzed through the lens of this alleged conflict. Of course, speculation about betrayal invites endless interpretation. Some insiders hint at a particular teammate who may have crossed boundaries, whether through leaks to the media, sidestepping team protocols, or disagreements over personal conduct. Others suggest it's not about a single individual, but rather a broader sense of frustration McLaurin feels about accountability in the team. The ambiguity only fuels the rumor mill further. Fans are crafting scenarios, imagining locker room confrontations, clandestine conversations, and heated exchanges that may have never even happened. And yet, in the world of professional sports, these rumors often shape narratives almost as much as actual gameplay does. The image of McLaurin standing firm, demanding loyalty and setting clear boundaries, resonates with fans who crave drama, authenticity, and players with spine. As the story unfolds, analysts are debating the long-term implications. Can a team survive publicly acknowledged trust issues? Will McLaurin's forthrightness inspire teammates to elevate their game, or will it deepen divisions and fuel resentment? Historically, teams with fractured locker rooms often see uneven performance, late-game collapses, and unexpected roster changes. And yet, sometimes, a bold statement like this can galvanize a squad, forcing underperforming members to step up or step aside. The Commanders now sit at a crossroads. Navigate the turbulent waters with careful diplomacy, or risk the storm turning into a tempest that affects not just the locker room, but the season's trajectory. One thing is clear: Terry McLaurin is not one to shy away from confrontation, on or off the field. His explosiveness on the gridiron is mirrored by his unwillingness to tolerate disloyalty or half-hearted effort. The phrase circulating now, "You can't trust someone who's already betrayed the group," has all the hallmarks of a soundbite that could define this season's narrative for Washington. Whether this becomes a rallying cry or a harbinger of deeper issues depends on how the Commanders' leadership responds. Will they silence the whispers, or let the murmurs grow into a defining chapter in the team's history? Only time, and a few high-stakes Sunday matchups, will reveal the full story. As social media continues to dissect every nuance, and as the rumor mill churns relentlessly, one thing remains undeniable. The spotlight is firmly on McLaurin, and by extension, the Commanders as a whole. Every reception, every route run, and every post-game interview is now potentially loaded with subtext, interpreted through the lens of trust, loyalty, and betrayal. Fans, journalists, and analysts are all watching closely, knowing that in professional football, the lines between personal dynamics and performance are never as clear as they seem. Whether this story fades quietly into locker room lore or explodes into a full-blown saga of loyalty, leadership, and confrontation, one thing is certain. Terry McLaurin has reminded everyone that in sports, as in life, trust is fragile, loyalty is priceless, and betrayal is a wound that can echo far beyond the field. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.